Hi, this is Hugh Cushing from WhiteSource, and this is the next in our series of videos on WhiteSource's Bitbucket integration. And in this one, we're going to talk about WhiteSource Remediate within Bitbucket. WhiteSource Remediate is a technology that will create pull requests for you that will resolve security vulnerabilities without you having to do any coding, essentially. So as an example, this repository has some rules set up to have WhiteSource Remediate do its thing. And the way you can tell that is that some pull requests were created by WhiteSource, by the WhiteSource service account, to address problems. Now you'll see here that this pull request is updating a particular library, the MySQL Connector Java library, to version 8. Okay, it's calculated that to resolve all of the vulnerabilities that we found in all of the versions of MySQL Connector Java in your project, that we have to uh, update it to version 8.0.16. Okay, so a pull request was automatically created that is doing that. So you'll see that it's a fairly simple change, but it's basically upgrading the version in the POM file at the right spot. Okay, so if you'd like to have that done, all you have to do is simply merge that pull request in, and the change will be made in this case, in the master branch. Right now, we've created it only on the WhiteSource Remediate branch. Okay, so that way, if you wanted to test those changes, which we definitely recommend that you do whenever you're doing an upgrade, to make sure it didn't mess up your application in any functional way, you could do that before you merge the pull request. Now, we're always going to recommend the minimum upgrade that you need to do to resolve all the CVEs, but since this application was pretty out of date and there were a lot of CVEs against it, it was making a major jump here. It's proposing to make a major jump here in this pull request. Anyway, regardless, follow best development practices, test the changes out, but then you can merge it and your security vulnerabilities will be resolved. And it will actually tell you that because when you merge it, of course, it's going to do another scan, WhiteSource scan, and it will show you that those were resolved. Now, how do you make this happen? Well, there's two ways. If you go to the WhiteSource tab, you will see sometimes that there's a checkbox next to a particular vulnerability. It says check this box to open an automated fix PR. Right? So the reason that these have checkboxes and these don't is because these were already processed automatically. Right? These were not. And the reason that is because we have what we call an integration workflow rule defined that your WhiteSource administrator would define, or your WhiteSource project administrator would define, that says for any medium or high vulnerabilities, create a pull request if possible. Right? Whereas for low priority vulnerabilities, WhiteSource was told not to create them automatically. But if you want to create one anyway, you simply check this box and once created. But for these, the pull requests were automatically created. Now you'll see sometimes that there are vulnerabilities for which pull requests are not created where you'd expect them to be. That generally means that there is no fix right now that's going to work for your combination of things, combination of open source library versions. But for any vulnerability and for any library that we can fix, we're going to create a PR automatically if you tell us to. Now, when I say those integration workflow rules, or when I say, if you tell us to, what I mean by that is back in the WhiteSource UI, if you go to the Integrate tab and scroll down to the bottom and go to Developer Integrations, and you open up WhiteSource for Bitbucket Server, there's all this other detail here that you don't have to be concerned with, but the button you're interested in is Manage Workflow Rules. And you'll see here the workflow rules for this organization are as follows. There's only one. The scope is for the entire org, all products and projects within it. And let's open it up for more details. You'll see there's a rule that has to do with security vulnerability severity. There are other choices to go into, but those are in the documentation. The most common one is severity. So if I choose this dropdown and I click the medium, it means for any vulnerability that has a severity of medium or higher, do the following: generate a fixed pull request automatically. Okay. So once a rule is in place like that, then you're going to start seeing automated pull requests created to resolve these vulnerabilities. And you'll always see the details. You'll see what it's doing. It gives you a little bit of detail of what CVEs it's resolving. And obviously you can take a look at the changes that it made in order to see if they make sense or not. And then in the end, all you have to do is merge it. So that really does save a lot of time.
Thank you for watching this presentation, and if you have further questions, please reach out to your WhiteSource representative, or you can visit our website for more information.